Hi lovelies, and welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Janera, and today I'm going to be reviewing Patrick Ta's new Major Skin Cream Foundation and Finishing Powder Duo, as well as their Double Take Cream and Powder Blush. So if you're interested in seeing the try-on, review, and wear test of these products, then keep on watching. Alright, so let's get started. First, I'm going to be using my Milk Pore Eclipse Mattifying Primer. This is the consistency of the primer. Next, I'll be using Patrick Ta's new Major Skin Cream Foundation and Setting Powder Duo. I did pick up the shade Tan 4, and this is what this shade looks like. And I really love the packaging on all of his products. Before I apply this foundation, I want to read you guys a couple of these claims. This is a duo that includes a blendable medium coverage cream foundation paired with the satin finish powder. This set includes 0.42 ounces of the cream foundation and then 0.32 ounces of the setting powder, and it retails for $52. And I'm also going to be comparing the swatch of this shade to my favorite two foundations right now, which is the Makeup Forever HD Skin and Hourglass's Ambient Soft Glow Foundation. Alright, so I'm going to be swatching the Tan 4 shade first. It's kind of hard to see. I don't know if that means I picked up the wrong shade. Hopefully not. It might just be the formula though. This is the shade Tan 4. And here are the swatch comparisons. This is Patrick Ta's Tan 4 Makeup Forever 4x60 and then 14.5 of Hourglass's Ambient Soft Glow Foundation. So Tan 4 seems a lot deeper than the other two shades, but looking online, comparing to the models, I felt like Tan 4 was a better match to me than Tan 3. So I'll see how Tan 4 works on my skin, and if it's too deep, I'll go to Sephora and exchange it for Tan 3. I'm going to be applying it to the right side of my face. We'll see how that looks, and then I'll add it to the other side. Yeah, this is a little too deep. Already I can see it's not the perfect shade match, but it does look like it's gonna work, so I'll keep applying. Now that it's building up, I think this actually is a good shade match. Like, it looks really nice on the skin. Alright, so this is how it looks on this side, and I'll compare it to the left. As you can see, it covers up all of the redness on this side, but let me apply it to the other side. Alright, so this is the finish of the foundation on both sides. Even though I think it could use a lot more coverage, I do really like this finish. It's very skin-like and natural. Like, it really doesn't look like I'm wearing any foundation, which is really nice. Next, I'll be adding my concealer. This is the Radiant Creamy Concealer from NARS in the shade Caramel. Next, I'll be using this setting powder, and this is the swatch of this shade. And I'm just going to be using my beauty blender to put it under my eyes and then all over my T-zone. It does have a radiant finish, so I'm going to apply this and see what that looks like. Wow, this setting powder is amazing. Look at the difference between both sides. Like, you definitely need this setting powder, like right off the bat. Okay, so let me add this to the rest of my T-zone. Yeah, this setting powder formula is amazing. Like, it's way better than the Laura Mercier setting powder. And that's really hard for me to say because I've used that one for years. And like, I've never seen a setting powder look like this at the end. Like, I don't see any creasing, it hasn't settled into any fine lines. Like, it just looks really nice and does a really good job at like brightening the under eye area. Next, I'll be using my contour from the One Size Trio palette, the Made for Shade. This is the shade I'll be using right here. Next, I'll be using Charlotte Tilbury's Beautiful Skin Cream Bronzer in the shade Tan. And next for blush, I'll be using Patrick Ta's Double Take Cream and Powder Blush in the shade She's Baked. And then again, it has the same pretty packaging, and then it has this little flap separating both formulas. Here are the swatches. This is the powder, and then this is the cream shade. I'm gonna be using this powder shade first, but let's apply this. Ooh, this is really pretty. Very pigmented. Yeah, I love this formula. And this shade actually reminds me of the Rich Veg palette from One Size Beauty. Like the shades are actually like very similar. And even though that palette is very pigmented, I think that this one has a lot more pigment. So that's very interesting because I thought that that one had the most pigment, but after trying this, like this one, like just tapping my brush in just a little bit, like I can do both sides. Because it's so pigmented, I don't really want to add the cream, but just so you guys can see them layered, I'm just gonna add a little bit on top. Yeah, just a little bit. And then instantly you can see the texture change. That is super pretty on top. And then next for highlighter, I'll be using Bobbi Brown's highlighting powder in the shade Copper Glow. And now that all my base makeup is done, I'm gonna go off camera and finish my eyebrows, eyeliner, and mascara, and I'll be right back. All right, so I am back with the finished look for today, and I will get closer so we can see this finish. Now that the foundation has settled in, I really love this finish. Like it's extremely natural and lightweight, and it looks just like my skin, which is very rare to find with a medium coverage foundation. And then like I said before, this setting powder formula is amazing, like truly amazing. It just blurs under the eyes so well without settling into any fine lines, and then it also does a really good job at highlighting. When I first applied this foundation, I thought it came off too deep, but now that everything is settled, I think it looks really nice, and it matches my neck really nicely as well. So I do think that this is actually a pretty good shade match. I think that Tan 3 might be a little too light. I honestly think that my perfect shade match would be something in between Tan 3 and Tan 4. So hopefully they do release more shades of this. And then for the Double Take blush, I really love this formula. I think that the cream pairs really nicely on top of the powder shade. And then I also really like this shade as well. It's very pretty and natural, and this formula is super pigmented. But those are my first impressions. So far, so good. I'm really excited to see how this holds up throughout this wear test. Just because if it lasts really well, this will automatically be my favorite foundation release from this year, like by far. Since I do have oily skin, I did use that finishing powder in my T-zone as well as under my eyes, so I'm very interested to see how that formula will hold up as well, and if I'll keep using it or go back to my Laura Mercier setting powder. I will check in with you guys in about 10 hours and we'll see how these formulas hold up. Alright, so I am back with a 10-hour update, and I will get closer to show you how this foundation and finishing powder have held up. And let me just say this, if it's already in your cart right now, like unless you're trying to figure out like which shade you're gonna get, like if you already know which shade you are, just go ahead and purchase this product, because honestly, this is probably the best foundation that I've ever tried. Like I am literally in love with this formula. I don't know if it's specifically the foundation formula or the setting powder formula or a combination of both, but this product was definitely made for those of us with oily and combination skin. Like the entire wear test, like I haven't seen any oil coming through my T-zone. Now that it's been almost 11 hours, like I am seeing a little bit of oil coming through the crease of my nose, but throughout the entire day my face has been pretty dry, and the finish is so pretty. It's very natural, it's very skin-like. Like I feel like I don't really care to really use any of my skin tints right now, just because when I just use one layer of this foundation, like it pretty much does what I need a skin tint to do. And then if I want to build it up for medium coverage, I can get that out of this foundation as well. And then I do like that I don't have to use any loose powder under my eyes. The setting powder formula is amazing with this foundation, and now that I think about it, this formula does remind me of Danessa Myricks' Blurring Balm powder, but what I like more about this formula is that it's more creamy in consistency and offers more coverage. But just like the Blurring Balm powder, both of these products make the skin look more smooth and natural. Overall, this formula is very comfortable, very lightweight, and has a beautiful natural finish. And then I think that the price point of $52 is pretty reasonable because it does include the foundation and the finishing powder. The only downside that I have to mention about this foundation is that there's not enough shades. There's only 24, and even for me, even though the Tan 4 worked pretty well, I do think that I'd be somewhere in between Tan 3 and Tan 4. So I would like to see them introduce more shades in the future. I don't know if they're planning to or not. So I think to improve this formula, they should really consider expanding the shade range. And that really was my only complaint. I still recommend this foundation to those of us with oily combination skin. If you're interested in trying out this foundation, or you already have, please let me know what you guys think about it in the comments and whether it worked for you or not. But yeah, those are my final thoughts on Patrick Ta's new Major Skin Cream Foundation and Finishing Powder Duo, as well as his Double Take Blush. If you have any questions about either of these products, let me know and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Thank you guys for tuning in for another video. If you are new here, welcome. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and I will see you guys at the next video. Bye.